I remind you, I am not ever going to encourage you to simply run when you see these things. You must address it. And I'm going to explain with more clarity why addressing first is important, because I see so many people that say, oh, hell no. Once the red flag is there, I'm out. What's the point? We don't got time for that, so on and so forth. I will explain at the end, but let's continue. So the third thing on this list is that he consistently dwells in his past. All right. So the reality is this: we all will go through something. We all will go through disappointments and hurts. And as I mentioned earlier, it's about learning how to process the moments of disappointment, learning how to learn from it, and then grow from it, and then move forward. When we are not able to move forward and we keep holding on to what happened, one, we're not letting the new things that God wants to bless us with come into our lives. But more importantly, not more importantly, but just as importantly, is that we now become paralyzed in life. And that individual dwelling in their past is unable to progress in life the way that they need to. But in a relationship, it will make it worse, because them being paralyzed will paralyze you as well. All right. Them being unable to move past whatever happened to them is going to affect you as well. Now, one of the things I want to mention that's hitting my spirit again, as far as living in the past, is not being over an ex. So the unfortunate reality is that a lot of people are getting into relationships, never truly healing from their past relationship. And whether they want to admit it or not, and some are not admitting it to themselves, they're living in denial of it, they still have a lot lingering with the ex. Now, things lingering with the ex doesn't mean they want to be with them, so to speak. In some cases, it is. But it just means that they have not truly freed themselves from that situation. And now that does not allow them to embrace the current relationship. And then, honestly, it doesn't even allow them to choose the right relationship. I always say people who haven't healed are 99% likely to choose the wrong relationship for various reasons. But getting back to this man still dwelling on his ex, I feel the need to say this. If this comes about, if you start to notice that there's a woman, and man, a lot of stuff is hitting my spirit right now, so I gotta say this too. Sometimes that ex is still his friend. All right. Some of y'all are dealing with that. Some of y'all will deal with it. Some of you have seen it in other people's lives, where the ex is still his friend. And he has not fully released this woman. Now, I'm not attacking all friendships of exes, not saying that none of them can't be fully platonic, but I'm going to keep it real with you. In most cases, there's some unresolved stuff there. And so when you start to see this, whether that woman is present in his life in some capacity or not, I feel the need to tell you that do not fall into getting into a competition with this woman. I think a lot of times issues like this are overlooked because the woman falls into the trap, the new woman falls into the trap of now, as I said, competing with this other woman. I'm not going to lose this man to her. I'm not going to let her think she's better than me, especially if that woman gave you a bad look, said something wrong to you. If she did anything to make you feel like she's not respecting you, it can be very easy for many to fall into the trap of battling her and now losing sight of the fact that this man has not handled his business. And if he really loves you, if he's really into you, if he's really serious about you, he should not put you in a position that you have to even consider battling some other one. He should be handling that, nipping it in the bud, and that's it. It's done and it's over. So I just had to mention that because it happens more than y'all think. All right. And I don't want that happening to you. But the overall point here is whether it be past relationship, whether it be disappointment from a job he missed out on, or something he felt betrayed and cheated at. Maybe he's still holding on to friends that stabbed him in the back. Whatever the case may be, this is a problem. Because again, the other mistake that many make is thinking that this emotional damage, and let's just use friendship. Let's say it's an old friend that did damage to him. Thinking that the wound from that situation would not leak blood onto you. It will. In different little ways, it will. Are there some situations where people have managed to not allow it to really negatively impact their partner? I want to say yes, but honestly, no. And the reason why I'm going to say no is this. Even if it hasn't directly or more blatantly impacted their new partner, the negativity that resides from it seeps into the relationship one way or another. All right. So you're going to pay a price. So again, this is why we cannot just overlook these things and think everything will be okay, because that had nothing to do with me specifically. And they seem to be functioning right now. It's like someone being a functioning alcoholic. They're still an alcoholic. They still have an issue. And that issue can still rear its ugly head and cause a huge problem. So don't make excuses for it, and make sure you address it. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. As a woman, I'm sure there's probably been at least one time in your life where you've dealt with a man who won't open up. Or maybe he just struggles to open up. Either way, it becomes a very frustrating situation,